Here we go, guys. Yeah, by the last video, which would be the Brands Hatch race, we're now doing some more prep to the car to do our next race at Cadwell, which is just in a few weeks' time. It's Bank Holiday Friday today, so it's given me all weekend to mess around with the car and get it as I intend, or as close as I want it to be anyway. It did okay at Brands Hatch. You know, we went to a car that we went to a track that I've never raced at before, or even done a track day at before, and on a car that was untested. So it was steady, and slowly built up the pace. And I think the results speak for themselves, really. Yeah, so we're going to do a couple of little bits and pieces on this today. One of the main things is the rear arms is fouling the anti-roll bar, which then restricts the movement in the rear suspension. I don't know if you can properly, let me get a light. And just see past that tyre valve, the rear anti-roll bar link is fouling on that stainless bottom arm. And you see the angle of that roll bar link isn't really in a too helpful position. It's not aiding the roll bar as much as I want it to. So I've purchased a modified rear roll bar to clear this, which Mike Satur makes, and he had them adjusted to exactly for this reason. Although he gives you the roll bar offset brackets, which you probably see one of my previous videos fitting. Yeah, that's for the vehicle to be at standard ride height, which this isn't. Still not as low as I want it to be, but you know, it is what it is. So we're going to fit the new roll bar as well, which I'll show in a bit. Just give the vehicle a general bolt check, and then we're going to do a alignment check as well before we raise it up. What else is there to do? Oh yeah, the oil temp and oil pressure gauges, they kept going into default mode, so I'm pretty sure there's an earthing or a power issue with that. I used the power and earths from the previous gauge, but I'm trying to power two gauges with one, if you know what I mean. So there might not be enough current in there to power both gauges all the time. So yeah, that is that. Ain't really much to do in here. Take the lap timer out, take the GoPro remote out, get them all charged. Yeah, see all the tyre pickup. That's stained bodywork. You can see where that Metro caught me. So that'll polish out, that's not too bad. Yeah, and it's just basically just a check over, redo the alignment just to make sure that's all good, the gauges, roll bar, and then we've got a new livery set to stick on there as well, which I was waiting for. So yeah, we're trying to get this done over the weekend, and we got next week, I think the Wednesday or the Thursday, the 20th of April, we've got a track day at Cadwell, so hopefully we can learn the track a bit more and adjust the car settings to that track, if you know what I mean. So yeah, let's get on. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the string alignment kit and just get that all mocked up and a rough guesstimate of what the tracking is doing at this precise moment in time. Right, I've got all the strings set up now and I've taken my measurements. I have got the proper BG racing stuff over there, but it's just such a pain to set up and get it all even. You know, it's just a quick way just to put axle stands on the floor, put the bars on the axle stands and do it that way. So that's what I've done. I was messing around for about 45 minutes trying to get the BG racing stuff all set up, because there's such a fine tune up on them you can do. It's, you know, I'm not at that level yet, so I've just done axle stands, bars, and that will give me what roughly that I need. And this is what we've come up with. So all my measurements. So we've got 1mm toe in, which is about 0.1 degree on a 15-inch wheel, and I've got 3mm toe out, again, which is 0.3. So I might have to bring the backs in a bit so they're more neutral, and I'll bring the fronts in a little bit as well, so that's all neutral. As you can see, I've got like that. It's probably because the steering wheel isn't quite straight. If that was like dead on straight, then that'll give me my 1mm. So yeah, that's that done. I think next thing we do is we're just gonna get up in the air, get this roll bar swapped over, get the front rear wheels off. I've done a fluid check, that all looks nice. The coolant looks spot on, so that's all nice and clean in there, and the oil looks spot on as well. So I think after this track day and this race, I might give the oil a change, although it is motorsport oil. It doesn't say how long that will last under race conditions, but who knows. I'll change it every couple of races anyway, for the peace of mind. And obviously I've just rebuilt the engine as well, so before the season, well, before the end of last season, I've done Snetterton and then Brands Hatch and a dyno session since the engine's been rebuilt. So yeah, I think after this race we'll give it an oil change, but we'll get the thing up in the air anyway, get the wheels off and see what we're left with. Right, just got the wheels off, and another thing I forgot to mention is that I've got an ABS light on. Halfway through the first race I lost all ABS. Now that was me thinking that I've used it too much, just relying on it too much, that it just brought the light on, and after stopping and starting it again, hopefully that would have cleared, but it hadn't. So having a look at these, it looked like the ABS wire has been rubbing in between the platform plates and the wishbone and crushed it. That's even worse on the other side. Let me get a torch. I did have a torch around here somewhere, and I've lost it. Here it is. You can probably see that a little bit better, where it's been rubbing and chafing. And on the other side, again, you can see where it's been rubbing and chafing. And this mark here is where the spring platform's been hitting. So they're too low. The trouble is, with this resting on its wheels, it's almost on the bump stops, and I want it as low as possible really. And again, you can see where the roll bar's been rubbing, and that side there, and it's the same on the other side. But yeah, this one here, you can see where the spring platform's been been hitting that as well. So don't know what to look on this one. It's not as bad, but still quite bad. I was just having a quick look to make sure everything was still roughly in its place, and I found a loose bolt up there. I don't know if you can probably see it or not, but the bolt that goes and holds the coil packs in place. I can't get the camera up there. It's almost fell out. Well, it has fell out. It's disconnected and it's just hanging there at the minute. But anyway, we're gonna get this roll bar swapped over. This is what I got. I've got some nice billet aluminium roll bar links as well with Black Series bushes in. The only difference is that I can see with the other one is this kink here on a standard one is about here. So that then clears that, and then you don't have to use the offset brackets here. So yeah, just gonna get that swapped out, and also I measured up. I've got some shorter shocks for the front. Now I'm gonna have to put a lot of preload on these, so when it's sat on the ground, it's at its full stretch. So I'm gonna have to put the vehicle weight preload on. Yeah, I'm not too sure how that's gonna work out, but I've got a 2-inch travel and the bump stop is 1 inch, so I've literally got 1 inch travel on these, and these are just Avos, just off the shelf stuff. The shortest Avos they do with a 5-inch spring. So yeah, we'll see how that gets on. I'll swap them over and just see how that sits really. Right, let's get this roll bar sorted. Right, is that all bolted on now? Look, plenty of clearance with that roll bar. I think I might have to bend that tab down just so I don't hit that. Same with this side, look, plenty of clearance. Just probably bend that tab down onto the arm, which I didn't really want to do, just in case we want to change some shims out. But it is what it is. Once that's up, I can then just lift that plate up anyway. So there we go. Just a quick look underneath there, so it hasn't got the offset plates on anymore. More poly bushed up, Black Series. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the computer on it now, and then just see what that ABS fault is, and if it comes up with the rear sensors, then, because normally if there's a glitch fault, disconnect the battery for 10 minutes and reconnect to that. Well, this has been disconnected now since March. So over a month. Yeah, and it normally clears the fault, but there's obviously a current fault in there, so I'm just going to put the computer on it and just see which ABS sensor it is. And I might just take the ABS out anyway, but it just gives me a little bit of more of a late breaker, if you know what I mean. I can be the last of the late breakers then, and then I'll let the ABS sort out any lockup issues that I might have. Yeah, let's get the computer on it and then see what's what. Right, so I've got it all plugged in there. As you can see, wheel speed sensor, left and right rear. So that's inevitable really with how that's been bashed around. So I might see if we can, well, the ABS sensors are fucked. I haven't got any new ones. So I might just disconnect the ABS, and it is what it is, isn't it? Right, in other news, I've been trying to fit these Avo coilovers, as you can see, and they're just not clearing in there. If I show you on the other one, because I can't get that one out at the minute, this area here, if you compare it to the other one, is so much bigger, and it fouls on the billet top mount. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit these 6-inch springs, which I originally got with these Avos, and I couldn't get them in, and then I discovered with this setup you need a 5-inch spring, but I've got a 6-inch spring here for the front, which takes 1.5 inches of the spring, and although I can't go any lower because it's on the bump stops, I can at least bring these spring bases up a little bit higher so they're not fouling on the arm, and that's my thought anyway. And then I'm going to have to revisit the shock assembly and just go from there really. But anyway, I'm going to get this other Avo out and I'm going to swap these springs over on the gazzers and then get them back on. Right, so I just sorted the ABS fault out. I had a new sensor, so I put a new sensor in this side and just rerouted the wire up this side so it's not crossing over the top there anymore. And the other side I didn't get one, and I couldn't get the old sensor out because the bolt just felt like it was going to snap off. So I managed to do a little repair on that one, just to get me through. Yeah, so that's that. I bent these tabs down. The other things that I've done was I've fitted the 6-inch springs now and put some preload on it. I haven't put it down on the floor yet, so I don't know what the height is going to be like. But obviously I can't go no lower because it's pretty much on the bump stops anyway. So that's that. What was I messing around with earlier? Yeah, so just trying to sort this ITG out, because how I had it didn't sit too well, and it turns out I've got the wrong bracket for the fuel filter bracket here. That's where it was attached to, but I've just looked on that one over there and this bracket comes down and out a little bit more for the ITG to sit, so I'm on the hunt for one of them brackets at the minute, and being a bank holiday weekend everywhere's shut. So yeah, I've just got to put that on, and I don't know if you can probably see down there, down there. If I can find it. Where is it? Oh, that bolt there, you can just see it half hanging out. And if I bring you back out here, I've just had to nut and bolt that one there on the right hand side. I've already done, nut and bolt that. That one on the left hand side, that was half hanging out, so I had to nut and bolt that one, and it's literally stripped the threads out of the bolt, or out of the aluminium inlet. So, and without taking that alloy inlet off, which is complete break of the coolant system, because it's got a bleed pipe that goes through it. So I've just nut and bolted it anyway with a Loctite or lock nut. I'll just tighten that little bolt up there, tighten the other side up as well. I think I might have found a bracket locally to me of a friend, so hopefully I can get down there later on tonight and grab that off him. Where's my torch? Yeah, as I mentioned, them 2 bolts in there. Yeah, that's the old sensor. See how rusty that old bolt is there. I don't think I took these out when I reconditioned the hubs, because I couldn't get them screws out. But there we go. You can see how badly crushed. This is the one that I repaired here. How badly crushed it is. It's not going to focus. But it's quite badly crushed. And it's the same with this one here as well. I'm going to pull that apart, that'll be the same as that. But I haven't got any faults in the system anymore now, so I can disconnect that. Again, I won't be running these ones because I'm running the short springs, and I'm going to have to find another solution for the meantime. Yeah, that is pretty much about it. I've got the gauges to do, probably get some more powers and earths on that, and I might get the lap timer because that's like permanently in there. I think I might try and hardwire that in as well for ignition. Yeah, so apart from that, we'll get some stickers on, and I'm just going to stick the stickers on. I think when you look at it, once I've done it, you'll see what I'm trying to accomplish. But yeah, we'll get the stickers on and go from there. Right, there we go. Just got that buffer. I just got the buffing tool on it, on the old rotary, bit of compound, and that tyre mark come straight out. Trouble is, it's made the whole rest of the car look like shit. So do I do the rest? You see loads of tyre splat there, tyre hanging at the door. Yeah, I think I'll leave it for now, and we'll get some stickers on, because trouble is when you machine polish a car and then stick stickers on, they tend to fall off. So I'm going to alcohol the car down and get some stickers on, and then I might show it a little bit of a rotary action later on down the road if I've got time. Alright, there we go. That's one side done. Trying to take homage of the Mercedes CLK Le Mans car. Obviously changed the thing to my branding, but it's still the same font as what the other brand was. I can't remember what they were, Walsener or something like that. But yeah, and that's how it sits at the minute. I've got a little bit more room to drop down, but as you can see, it's pretty level. But you know, way too high. Way too high. So yeah, we'll drop that front down another probably 5mm, and then that'll give me a little bit of compression on the before I hit the bump stop as well. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes for the rest of the season, and if it still plays up, or if I'm still not happy with it, then I think I'll go TF subframes in the end. But yeah, that's how it's looking at the minute. So yeah, just got to stick the stickers on the bonnet. There's one big D2 Brevet to stick on the front, and got to do the other side, and then just the gauges to sort out. So oh yeah, and the ITG, and so I think I found a bracket, one that goes onto here. But yeah, we'll get that sorted. I'm going to go home now, so you'll probably see me on Bank Holiday Monday, the next time I'd be down here to finish this off, finish up the setup. So yeah, for me it's going to be a couple of days, for you a few seconds.
Several days later.
Alright, Bank Holiday Monday, and we're here working on the race car again. I managed to get myself a bracket. It's a little bit rusty, but we're going to give that a bit of a clean up and a paint, and while the paint's drying we're going to apply the other side of the stickers. So you can see the major difference here. Look, that's where it was bolted into, that big hole, and you can see that's slightly different, that's slightly lower down. If you look at that angle there and look at that angle, this hole here on the other bracket is here. so it's obviously going to drop it down a little bit more and a little bit more to the left. And we've got that bracket there as well, or that hole there, which the ITG can bolt onto. So I think the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock off this bracket because I don't need it. Give it a wire wheel. I was going to chuck in a sandblaster, but the sandblaster is covered in boxes at the minute. So I'm going to wire wheel it off as best I can and just give it a lick of paint just to make it look a little bit better, really. So yeah, I'll do that, and when the paint is drying, I'll stick the other side of the stickers on. Just still got all this side to do yet. Alright, let's crack on. Right, so as I'm waiting for paint to dry, I've started to get these gauges sorted. As I say, when you're racing, everything just goes into default mode, so the oil pressure gauge will go straight up to 10 bar or past 10 bar, and the temperature gauge will just fall flat on its arse to where it is now. So I obviously use the powers and earths and previous gauges, so because I'm trying to power two gauges with one gauge power and earth supply, I don't think that was given enough, or there was some kind of fault in that wire where that was just, I'm either losing the earth or I'm losing the live. So what I've done is I put in a nice big wire and I've teed into the power and earth from this, which if you remember correctly was the old blower motor power, so that's got plenty of oomph in it now, and again that's on ignition. So yeah, I've just teed into that, and from the back of the switch panel straight into the back of the oil pressure gauge, and then again into the oil temperature gauge. So yeah, I've just got to fix that panel back in now. Just thought I'd show you what it all looks like, and before I fit it in. And I've got all the stickers on now. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, I'm gonna just fit them gauges back in, make sure they all work, and then hopefully, this has been out in the sun for the last couple of hours, so yeah, it's gone past the tacky stage now, so it might be hard enough for me to just fit it on. And to be fair, you can't see it, so if I do chip or stick a fingerprint in it, then who cares, because it is buried down the depths of in the engine bay. But I just wanted to make it a little bit more better than what it was, because obviously this one looked okay-ish, a little bit of rust on it, but the other one had a bit too much rust, and bringing it into this engine bay, which is quite clean, would be a bit of a disappointment for the sake of a couple of hours work just to pre up in a sandblaster and a lick of paint. And I've gone with the straight to metal Hammerite spray paint as well, satin black. So yeah, that's that. Right, let's get this gauge sorted and then hopefully get on to fitting this bracket and getting the air filter back on. Right, got our bracket all fitted now. and the airbox all back in, and it's sitting a lot nicer than what it was. That pipe actually sits in a reasonable place, and it doesn't squish up against the wiring on the throttle position sensor either, which could have caused me a problem later on. That's still really close to the red bar, as in it's still touching, but again, this is a kit designed for an F, and these bars here only come in a TF, so the regulations state that I could run these bars, but you know, how much extra rigidity will that give me? Obviously Rover ain't going to put something on that isn't, you know, going to make any beneficial, you know, if it's not going to benefit, then Rover wouldn't have spent all the time and money putting these things in. So they're obviously going to make some benefits for me and my body rigidity, shall we say. But nevertheless, that's on there now, and that's better than what it was anyway. So yeah, that's in. The gauges are in. What I did do when this was up in the air is I just tweaked the alignment a little bit, going by the measurements on the board. I think I brought the passenger side wheel in a little bit by 1 mil. I think the threads on these are 1.25 mil thread, so I gave it like 3/4 of a turn, so in rough maths it's going to be like 1 mil, and that's what I needed to adjust by. And again, I done this rear wheel 3/4 of a turn, which would roughly be 1 mil, and the other one 1 3/4 turn, because that was 2 mil out. So what I'm going to do is I am going to drive it off the ramp, drive it around the yard a little bit, and then get it back on the ramp, and then so that settles everything in, and then make another measurement and see where we are. But yeah, that's pretty much done now, apart from that. So we might play around with the alignment a little bit more, but that is it. Right, let me get it out, let me settle the suspension down and get it back in again, and then we'll measure the alignment again. Right, there we go. That's all now set up. When I've done my initial adjustments, when that was up in the air, I went the wrong way on everything, so that turned out to be a lot further out than I started with. But there you go. You got to remember, if the number is bigger, that's towing in. So these were my numbers I began with. These are my numbers that I remeasured at after the initial adjustment. And obviously that number is bigger than that number, and I wound it in thinking that I need to shorten this number. Is that right? I don't know, but whatever I did wrong. So I've now adjusted it all, and I am now sitting 60 mil, and then just over 60, so 60.5 mil on the front there, and that's the same on the other side as well. So that gives me 1 mil toe in across the whole axle, and then this one again is 60 mil, 60 mil, same on the other side. So that will then give me my my parallel for the back axle. I think I might take the axle stands, the bars and the strings with me for testing on Wednesday, just so that I can just play around with the settings really and go from there. But yeah, that is pretty much all that I need to do now. So yeah, tomorrow I'll get it off the ramp, load it onto the trailer, load a few tools onto the trailer, and then take the trailer home on Tuesday evening, and then leave early Wednesday morning for testing, or track day technically, on Wednesday. So it's a 2-hour drive from my house, so if I leave 5:30 I'll get there for about 8 o'clock, I'm going to say, or yeah, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, yeah, 8 o'clock, give me 2.5 hours to get there. Yeah, that is pretty much it. That is all I'm going to do. And then again, I'm going to take the string alignment kit with me, so if I do find that I'm struggling on a corner, I'll remeasure and readjust, because I can get to everything. I can get to the back adjustments through underneath the back bumper, and I can get to the front adjustments just by turning the wheel, and I'll just do like quarter turn increments, rock it backwards and forwards, and then reset my box again. So yeah, that's it, that'll do it. I'll get this edited up, so hopefully you'll see it on Bank Holiday Monday evening, and then hopefully by next weekend I should have some footage from the testing. So cool, I'll leave it at that, and we'll see you in the next video.